All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Greenside Experience. You can see behind me, I've got a really modern build going on. We're super excited about this one because this is our first really modern build. It's almost like something you see in the California hills, but it's here in good old Illinois. What I want to talk about today is our WRB. What's a WRB? That's a weather-resistant barrier, also known as house wrap. Some brands are Tyvek. We use Siga, and there's other different brands that you can use. But this one's a little different than what we normally use. This is self-adhered, which means it sticks. It's like a giant sticker. Now the benefit to that is that it really encapsulates the house and makes it airtight. And because this house, as you can see, has so many window openings, huge window openings, airtightness is especially important on this house. Let me show you. Okay, so we're here at the back of the house, and I just want to get in close and show you how we install this. So obviously this is the self-adhered Siga. We get down to the foundation, and underneath this tape is another tape. It's called Fentrum, and that connects our foundation to our framing. So that joint where our base plate or sill plate is that sits on top of the concrete, there's a joint there. We cover that with the Fentrum tape. And then we install the WRB or the Siga MyVest SA on top of that, on top of the Fentrum tape. And as an extra measure, I took the Wig Glove tape and I taped that joint as well. So this is a solid connection here. There's no air leakage in this connection. And this is actually the connection of the house where you get the most air leakage. It's not around windows, it's not around penetrations, it's at the sill plate. This is super important to get this sealed up, get this connection sealed. To get a close-up here of the WRB, the self-adhered, you can see I got a little piece, and it's essentially a giant sticker. We really like this because when it's applied, we don't have to fasten it on with nail staples or plastic cap nails. It's self-adhered. And what's nice about the Siga is you can stick it on the wall, but then take it off again and replace it, because anyone that knows that's installed this type of stuff, that it never goes on perfect every time. You might have to adjust it to get it level or to get the overlap correct, and it's easy to pull it off and stick it on again. It's easy to work with. And then here's the tape, the Fentrum tape that I showed you at the bottom of the foundation. This is also a sticker backing, and we put this on the foundation, onto the framing, and this overlays on the top of it, like so, to give you a real bomber system. What's also great about the Siga product that's different from other self-adhered is it's malleable. So I can actually pull this off still, and this has been installed for a couple of weeks, adjust it if I needed to, and put it back down, and it'll stick. So whatever chemicals or resin they're using for the sticky film, it's excellent. It makes it really easy to work with. So another connection or intersection point that I want to show you is here at our 600 amp service box. So this is our huge disconnect box for our 600 amp service. The meter will go in here. This is much larger than the typical 200 or 400. So we have to mount this early on before our exterior cladding goes in. So it's important that this connection is done really well. So we've actually installed this behind, and then we make our connection with the tape to the box so nothing can get behind it on this direction. And then we'll insulate with foam behind this cavity to make sure it's just extra insulated. All right, guys, yeah, I'm up here on top of the roof. I got my safety harness on. I'm sitting right behind a parapet wall, okay? A parapet wall is a wall on top of the roof that helps give us an even line all around the perimeter of the house. So you don't see any slopes. That lends to a modern architecture. The reason we have a parapet wall is because the roof slopes from the front to the back and drains out these three large holes, which are called scuppers. We do this primarily to get the nice even look around, but I do not like having interior roof drains. So if we didn't have scuppers, this roof would be pitched different. It would be pitched to the center, and we'd have a roof drain coming down the inside of the house. That's inviting water into your house, which I'm not a big fan of. Sometimes it's necessary. You might not have any other choice, but here we did. So we created these 3 wide scuppers. The reason I'm up here is I wanted to show you how our Siga WRB is tucked in underneath the flange of this metal scupper. So if we did happen to get any water that comes out and drips over and leaks behind the cladding system, which is going to be stucco here, it'll hit the flange and drain down onto the WRB and not get behind into our wall sheathing or our plywood. We use CDX plywood for our walls. And then you'll also see this flange here. This is temporarily nailed over. This is our roof membrane. It's called a TPO. So it's the entire flat roof. It comes up the parapet wall here, up and over. So essentially we'll end up cutting this flush with the stucco that comes up to here, and then we'll have a welded metal drip cap at the top. I think we're gonna have about 1.5 to a 2-inch reveal underneath to give us a nice line across the top. Yeah, but that's it in a nutshell. That's how we do our flat roofs. All right, guys, so to show you the difference between a self-adhered WRB and a mechanically fastened WRB, I'm here at a house that we're building just 2 doors down from the other one I just showed you. And this is a more traditional WRB. It's mechanically fastened. Mechanically fastened means we're using fasteners to install it on the wall because it's not sticky. And you can see here at the bottom, it's house wrap. It's basically like paper, a very special kind of paper. It allows the house to dry through the back. You can see here we still have our Fentrum tape taped from the foundation to the framing, and this will come down over it. We'll install some tape there. This is much less expensive than the other type of WRB. It's easier to install. You can see over here they're framing a wall, and they tack it on when they're framing the wall, and they just stand the wall and it's already installed. Whereas the self-adhered, you have to stand all the walls and come back later and unpeel it and stick it to the wall. All right, that'll do it for this episode of the Greenside Experience. Hopefully you got a little bit more familiar with WRBs, what types there are, and how they're installed. If you like this video, do me a favor and click that subscribe button. The more subscribers we get, the more videos we can put out, and the better content we can put out as well. Also, I'd like to give a special shout out to Andersen Windows. They sponsored this video. We love Andersen Windows. We use them in all our projects. And until next time, see you later.